now what are the different characteristics of a problem. Ab we are talking about, we have talked about few problems and we have talked about different search strategies that we will discuss in detail. So another thing you need to understand before going to understand the various search techniques, because the question will come why we are using this search technique. So first you need to understand the characteristics of a problem. So in order to choose the most appropriate problem solving method, or whatever the algo or whatever the search strategy we will follow for solving a particular problem, it is necessary to analyze the problem along various key dimensions. So here we are talking about what are the characteristics of a problem, right? So is the problem decomposable into a set of independent, smaller, or the easier sub problems? Right here we can take an example of any, if you will develop any software system, right? If you will develop any software system, you will first understand what you are going to make, right? What you are going to develop, and in that you will understand whether that software system can be decomposed into a set of a independent modules, right, or a easier sub modules, right? So here first characteristic we are talking about when the problem can be, whether the problem can be divided into a number of independent sub problems or not, simply. So a very large and a composite problem can be easily solved if it can be broken into a smaller problems and the recursion should be used. Simply in programming language, you are saying that you will make different functions or the modules for generating a large program, and after that you will connect that functions or call that functions based on a recursion or what, right? So this can be done breaking the large problem into smaller problems and the solving by each by applying a specific rule here, right? Adding the result, we can find the complete solution, but there are certain problems which cannot be decomposed into a sub-problems, right? For example, blocks word problem in which start and the goal state are given. So you need to adjust these blocks as A, B, C. These are scattered and you need to adjust them in a order. So here the solution can be achieved by moving the blocks in a sequence such that a goal state can be tried. Another characteristic, so first you need to understand whether the problem can be decomposed or not. Another characteristic here we are talking about, can the solution steps be ignored or at least undone if they prove unwise. So another characteristic we are saying that whether the particular steps can be ignored or not. So problem fall under three classes: ignorable, recoverable, and the irrecoverable, right? Whether the particular solution can be ignored, whether it can be recovered, or whether it can be irrecoverable. So this classification is with reference to the steps of a solution to a problem. What steps we are following. And if we are saying that what steps we are following, we are simply talking about what kind of a search strategy we are following. So consider the theorem proving. We may later find that it is of no use. We can still further proceed. Since nothing is lost by this redundant steps, this is an example of a ignorable solution steps, right? अगर problem solving की बात करें, a theorem proving, if we are talking about any theorem proving problem, here we can ignore the particular steps here, right? Now consider the 8 puzzle problem tray and arranged in a specific order. Again, we are talking about the 8 puzzle problem that we have discussed yesterday. So while moving from the start state towards the goal state, right, we may make some stupid move, but we can backtrack and undo the unwanted move. This only involves the additional steps, and the solution steps are recoverable, right? So इसमें what we are discussing about, when we slide a particular block from one place to the another place, and if that was of no use, we can recover it from the unsliding it, right? So here we have taken the few examples as we are lastly consider the chess game of a chess. A game of a chess in a chess game, you cannot recover your steps. So if a wrong move is made, it can either be ignored and neither be recovered. This thing to do is to make the best use of a current situation and then proceed. So here we have talked about another characteristic of a problem. When we are starting a problem, we need to understand whether the problem can have a solution steps be ignored or recoverable or irrecoverable. So we have in this, we have taken three examples here, right? Now, is the problem universe predictable? Another characteristics is क्या problem universe predictable है? क्या आप उसे predict कर सकते हैं? Problems can be classified into those with certain outcomes and those with uncertain outcomes, playing cards. So if we are talking about a eight puzzle problem, certain outcomes you know and uncertain outcomes can be in a playing cards. What do you understand by the in certain outcome problems? Planning can be done to generate a sequence of operators that guarantees to lead to the solution. So in a mind or in a steps, you can do the planning. If you will move or if you will slide a particular block to here, you can do your planning to reach to a goal state. So planning helps to avoid the unwanted solution steps, right? जिसमें आप ignore कर सकते हैं. And for uncertain outcome problem, जिसमें in which you don't know what can be the outcome of that particular problem. Planning can at best generate a sequence of operator that has a good probability of leading to a solution. Here, another characteristics of a problem we are talking about, or we are saying that what is the role of a knowledge here? When we are solving a problem, what is the role of a knowledge? Though one could have an unlimited computing power, the size of a knowledge base available for solving the problem does matter in arriving at a good solution. So again, best जितना the data जितना ज़्यादा आपके पास data होगा उतना ही ज़्यादा आपकी power भी increase हो जाएगी. In this we are talking about this. So take an example for
मैम डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे इसको, कितना डाटा है और कितना इम्पैक्ट करेगा?
वो तो जितना डेटा है, like here we are talking about what is the role of a knowledge here. Like for a particular problem, if you are having a number of solutions available, right, in a past, in a data discovery we are talking about. Here we are talking about the historical data, and from that data you can have a multiple outcomes, right? Multiple solutions are there. So this is a kind of a knowledge, right? Here we are saying you are getting a knowledge of a different search strategies from here, right? So you are having a knowledge of different search strategies. You know the different search algorithms, and that if that is feed in a particular machine, so the machine can choose a best optimal search strategy for solving that problem. So here we are talking about what is the role of a knowledge in problem. When we are defining a problem characteristic, so we are defining a knowledge also. How much knowledge we are having or how much knowledge is present in a machine to solve that problem. How much data is present, how much historical algorithm has been feed, right? So here we are talking about what is the role of a knowledge, what kind of a, how much the size of a knowledge base is available for solving the problem. कितना knowledge है, right? If you don't know, अगर आपने कभी search strategies के बारे में पढ़ा ही नहीं, ठीक है, तो आपके पास तो knowledge ही नहीं है उसे solve करने की, एक particular search strategy opt करने के लिए for particular problem, right? So for this, we are talking about another additional knowledge, right? What we are talking about, how much additional knowledge is present, and that additional knowledge you can have via different surveys, right? And the
कुछ ऐसे भी तो प्रोग्राम हो सकते जिनके पास डेटा नहीं हो, ऐसे सिनेरियो क्या हो सकते हैं?
These scenarios will come under the uninformed search, right? Uninformed, you don't have a particular additional information. For that, you will develop your task For developing a AI system, you will develop the different situations. You will feed the different situations. That is the problem. You can have the different situations in which the solution is not present. For that, you will, this is an example that you don't have any additional information. You don't have any additional information or knowledge.
yes.
For that, you will need to understand, you need to update your data from the real-time analytics, right? You will search for particular that topic and you will search for a particular solution after increasing your knowledge base. So here we have talked about the different search strategies and we have talked about the different characteristics of a problem. If we are having any problem और machine के पास भी कुछ problem आएगी जिसका solution हम demand कर रहे हैं machine से, तो machine के लिए उस problem की बहुत सारी characteristics हो सकती हैं कि पहली characteristic तो हो सकती है कि वो problem किस तरीके की है, ठीक है? हमने बहुत सारी characteristics जो discuss करी, characteristics of a problem में, let's revise it first. First, we will first the machine, or as a human we are talking about, because we are talking about the AI machine only, AI system only. So AI machine कैसे work करेगी? First, it will understand whether the problem can be decomposable into independent steps or not. Whether machine will understand whether the problem, whether we need to search the solution for a particular problem one by one, step by step, and then we will integrate it, or in a one step only the complete solution, right? So पहले तो problem समझेगी, problem की characteristic समझेगी, उसके बाद another characteristic it will understand, can the steps be ignored, can it whatever the steps problem किस तरीके की है कि उसमें what kind of a solution we need to understand, ignorable, recoverable or the irrecoverable, किस type का problem में we are searching for a particular solution. Whether the
तो ये यही तीन तरह के स्टेप्स होते हैं.
हाँ जी, these are the particular steps. Another is the problem universe predictable. Predict किया जा सकता है or not. And another thing, it will understand how much knowledge is present. Unlimited computing power है और कितनी knowledge उस problem के बारे में पता है, ठीक है, पहले से कितना डेटा है, क्या है, नॉलेज बेस के बारे में यू विल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक और यू विल डिवाइड और यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम. सिंपल सा ह्यूमन भी कैसे किसी प्रॉब्लम को अगर आप सॉल्व करेंगे तो आप पहले तो ये देखेंगे क्या उस प्रॉब्लम को एक ही बार में खत्म करना है या धीरे धीरे स्टेप बाय स्टेप डिकम्पोज करना पॉसिबल है. फिर आप देखेंगे क्या ये इस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम है कि मैं एक स्टेप आगे चला गया तो मैं पीछे जा सकता हूँ, रिकवर कर सकता हूँ, नहीं कर सकता हूँ, या ये मैं पर्टिकुलर स्टेप को इग्नोर कर सकता हूँ, नहीं कर सकता हूँ, या फिर मैं इरिकवर, ये प्रॉब्लम एक ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है जिसे मैं रिकवर नहीं कर सकता अगर मैं आगे बढ़ गया तो सिस्टम हैंग हो गया, सिस्टम इनफाइनाइट स्टेट में चला गया, बंद हो गया, राइट, रिकवर ही नहीं हो सकता स्टेप. फिर मैं another characteristic we will search about कि how much data is present, how much knowledge is present, right? So और इसका यूनिवर्स प्रिडिक्टेबल है या नहीं, सॉल्यूशन इसका प्रिडिक्टेबल है या नहीं. तो ये सब आपको प्रॉब्लम की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स समझनी पड़ेंगी बिफोर स्टार्टिंग द सॉल्यूशन, और यू विल डिफाइन योर प्रॉब्लम विद दीज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ओनली.